And let me shock you. For the past 10 years, we've never, no institution in Nigeria, maybe one or two, had actually exhausted up to 70% of its carrying capacity. We keep crying, we keep complaining, no available spaces. Yet this institution cannot exhaust their carrying capacity.
What do you mean by carrying capacity?
An institution is given the number of candidates that it's supposed to admit per year. Take, for instance, maybe University of Lagos. They say this year you're going to admit 10,000. That's your carrying capacity as allocated by NUC. And that goes on for all the tiers of tertiary institution, for polytechnics, for College of Education. I am telling you that most of these institutions hardly exhaust these spaces. Have you ever bothered?
How do you know that?
We have the statistics. Have you ever also bothered to find out why?
Because the allegation you make, I mean, let's talk about that carrying capacity. You say that they hardly use up to 70% of it.
Yes.
Meanwhile, students are always looking for admission.
Yes.
They will look out for the merit list. If
Yes.
their name is not there, they will look out for the second
Yes.
list. Sometimes there are other lists.
Yes, and I will explain.
Extraneous lists.
I
And
will
then
explain.
sometimes there's also the pre-degree program, which the schools have started, the diploma programs.
Yes, I will
which
explain
they
that. I'm
eventually
also
take
coming
in as
to
well.
the other question we're trying to address. Each day, averagely, about 2,000 institutions, that's candidates, apply for regularization. We have 2,000 applications on an average of, on every day, 2,000 average every day, candidate applying for regularization.
What's regularization?
Regularization is that, look, we were admitted through the back door, and we want to regularize our admission.
What do you mean by through the back door?
Good. You see, in Nigeria, I've come to discover that I'm a Christian, and the Bible says when you say the truth shall set you free. But in Nigeria, it is almost becoming a fact that when you say the truth will kill you. What we did at that stakeholder meeting was looking at the parameters. What have we been doing before? Let me also give you this information. For the past, in fact, as old as cut-off points have been, the beginning of cut-off point in the history of admission in Nigeria, institutions have not adhered strictly to cut-off points. It has always been, we'll go to a stakeholder meetings, we say 180, and some institutions go back and do whatever they want to do. I know Nigerians would have been happier if we had said cut-off point is 250, and then we'll go back and then we're doing whatever we want to do. But now that we've brought the truth on the table, everybody is complaining. Nigerian institutions have never adhered strictly to the cut-off point, and that explains why they are applying for regularization. Regularization is that, look, we don't have candidates. A College of Education came to us with 3,000 names that it wants to regularize. Admission, it has done for over a period of 3 years. And we look at that list. Why do you do this admission? When we look at the list, we only found 4 candidates that met the cutoff point for those various years, those 3 years. Only 4 candidates in the list of 3,000. What that means is that if that institution did not do admission through the back door, that is admitting people that had lower than the cutoff point declared at the stakeholder meetings, that institution would have been out of business. Because it says 180, and nobody applied with 180. There are more than 100 colleges of education today. If you pick cutoff point at 180 and you strictly adhere, you say, look, I'm going to watch to ensure that nobody admits anybody less than 180. Those colleges of education will go out of business in Nigeria.
So what we're saying is that it was like we're bringing down the marks.
We're not bringing down the marks. Let me correct this impression. People, you see, there are institutions, when you say VC ASU reject, VC didn't reject. What they are saying is that, as of yesterday, we have submission of cutoff point because what we agree at the stakeholder is that each institution give us your own cutoff point. As of yesterday, we have submission from close to 20 universities, over 20 universities. And when you look at it, an average of 200, that is what we are submitting.
I'm getting confused. You said that you did not bring down the mark. Initially, Jamb's cutoff point.
You mentioned standards.
Minimum.
Marks, we say standards.
I said cutoff point.
Okay.
The minimum cutoff points before now was what?
180.
180. But now you have brought it down to 120.
Yes.
Which means that we are going down to meet the students wherever it is they are. Is that what you're saying?
I have just laid some parameters for you to understand how we arrive at that.
I understand the parameters.
Let me make it
I
very
understood
clear.
the parameters. My question is a yes or no question.
No. You can't answer in such. There are certain questions that when you say yes, you pass a wrong message. What
about when you say no?
Wait, I won't say no and I won't say yes. But let me explain. I want Nigerians to understand this thing. So many institutions will not admit less than 200. And let me correct one thing that Prof said. The 120 mark is not that the performance is poor. We have over 600, close to 600 candidates that have scored 200 and above. Close to 600 candidates.
600,000?
600,000, sorry. Close to 600,000 candidates that have scored 200 and above. If you are going to admit only that 600,000, you would have filled a reasonable number of the spaces in the university. But let me tell you something that people don't really understand. When they say 1.7 million candidates apply, no space and all this, people are not factoring the fact that, look, the major determinant of admission is O-level results. If you, as a candidate, you have 300, let's say 400 over 400, and you have 3 credits, you have no space in any tertiary institution in Nigeria. You have 400 over 400, but you have 3 credits O-level.
At the same time, if you have 5 credits as determined, or even have 20 A1s, as the case might be, and you do not score the minimum of what that school requires, you're going nowhere
You're going nowhere. So these are the factors that we should also put into consideration. So the
question is, you have not answered my question, and it's a very viable question. What precisely has Jamb done, or Jamb in conjunction with the stakeholders?
What precisely has the stakeholders...
What are you saying, that you're going down to the level of the students which you are seeing? Because a lot of the students what we're seeing is that people are not scoring, majority of people who score 120 and above, are not getting admission into school. And so we have said, let us bring it down. Is that what Jamb is doing?
We are opening up the space for each institution to determine whatever it's carrying its cutoff point. And we are ensuring that in the event where an institution does not have people that score 200 and above, it can go down to pick people that have scored 150, 120 and above. If there are situations like that. If, for instance, a university, maybe 500 candidates apply to that university, and the highest 150, scores 150, are we saying that that university should close shop?